to talk to you a little bit about wrist pain, especially if you have pain in your wrists and your hands when you're in that all fours position. That tends to be when people start to feel it the most. And there are a few modifications that we can make to make that more comfortable for you. Ultimately, we want you to be able to bear weight on your hands and kind of be in that perfect alignment, but sometimes it takes us a little while to get there. So first, let's look at the setup and make sure that we're doing it correctly, and then if we're still having pain, then we can modify from there. So coming onto all fours, I want to have your fingers spread wide, thumbs point towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. The first thing you want to do is to make sure that your hand is directly under your shoulder, so you've not got it too far back and you're into too much of that wrist movement there. And again, you don't want to be too far forward, so directly under your shoulders. Then think about how you're bearing weight on your wrist. Now, what a lot of people will do is have all of the weight right at the base of the palm, so right at the heel of the hand there. And there's a little trigger point there, there's a little pain point there, so try and bounce your weight out a little bit more. So weight in the base of your first finger, base of your little finger, base of your thumb, and also the base of your wrist. You kind of want your whole hand to be anchored down rather than just that one point. So see if you can spread your weight out a little bit more evenly there. And then the other thing to notice is, where are you carrying your weight? Have you just kind of collapsed and dropped all of your weight into your hands? You've got great big stabilising muscles in your torso, so rather than having all of your weight just kind of collapsed and resting on your hands, can you pick your weight up a little bit? Can you use the muscles of your body to support you rather than letting everything collapse onto your hands? So have a little play with that. And if that's still not right for you, then we maybe need to change the wrist position a little bit. And there's a few ways that you can do that. Easiest way is to maybe just fold your mat over. Maybe you need to just fold it over once or twice. And that's just going to change the angle of the wrist. So then you can have the palm down and your fingers on the floor. So that's taken a little bit of that range of movement away, so that might make it a little bit more comfortable for you. And you can play around with that bolstering, so maybe you need a rolled up towel or something like that. Now, a lot of people will cue using fists for wrists, so kind of being on your fists here. I don't really like that, and the reason I don't really like that is a lot of people are quite weak through the wrist, and that it's kind of putting pressure on your wrist, and I worry about people rolling out to the sides and just holding their wrists at a really not great position. We want to have our body aligned as well as possible at all times. So not a huge fan of that. However, if that is the only way that you can bear weight, then okay, but making sure that you really keep everything straight and you're looking for any bend or any break in your alignment there. So I hope that those have been a little bit of use for you. I know a lot of people struggle. It is really important to bear weight on your hands and wrists because these are one of the areas that do suffer from osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is thinning of the bone, and you tend to find it happens in areas that aren't used very much, that aren't bearing weight. And you've probably heard that they say, well, you must do weight bearing exercise. It doesn't mean that you have to hit the gym and start lifting heavy weights. Bearing the weight of your own body is enough to build strength and strengthen those areas. So there's a few areas that are prone to osteoporosis. Wrist is one of them, so please don't shy away from loading them and doing that as often as you can. Take it slowly. If you can just do a little bit of movement on all four, but then you need to come off and give them a stretch, then do that. Absolutely fine. It's got to work for you.